Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be inspired by the amazing Megan Quinlan and making some ephemera paper dolls to add into our journal. So I'm starting off with these new Tim Holtz etching ephemera pieces, which came in a big pack, I think about 50 pieces in it. And as soon as I saw these on his Instagram, I thought, yep, I have to get these because these are perfect for this job. They come in a range of sizes. They've got a few etchings of males and females in them, and I just thought they were going to be perfect for this. The paper that I'm using here also is from the new Ideology, I think it's wallpaper or background, something like that. The double-sided piece of paper. Obviously, if you've got scrapbooking papers and so on, or you can make your own, or you can use your own collage bits and pieces. I just happened to have this floating around the desk because I'd used it for something else and it was going to work out perfectly. Now I had an idea, because I had actually done this previously in pinks, which I'll show you at the end of the video. So I had an idea I wanted to do this in blues for this page because I was going to put it on to a denim background. So I had a bit of an idea that I wanted my doll to have bluish tones to it. So I've used the blue sort of crackle on it. I've added in some blue inks around the edges just to darken it up or add shading to it. You will notice that I am trimming out my ephemera pieces. Now you do not have to do this. This is just because I just have this thing about I like things fussy cut out well. I know die cuts tend to have those white borders around them, but it just really bothers me. So even stupidly for me, I go in and fussy cut around the beetle because, you know, why wouldn't you want to fussy cut around ridiculously thin legs and so on? I did actually manage to cut off one of the legs. I'm doing a few different bits and pieces on this because I knew I wanted to add a few other bits of collage to this, but I didn't know what, so I was just hedging my best bets. I cut out a few things, gathered out a few things out of the pack that I thought I might use, and then just, you know, fussy cut around them. Wanted to add a little bit extra onto him, so I've got this fabulous wrapping paper, which I think came from Natalie May in one of the many packages I have bought from her. It's just regular wrapping paper with some dots on it, which I really like. Obviously you could create your own if you didn't have it, or use something in instead of, it could be vintage text or whatever. So the story of these dolls, I suppose, goes back, well, where do things start? Dolls like this have been around obviously for a long time. You will know if you follow my channel for a while, I've been doing muse dolls with lots of collage and so on. So the idea of sort of these dolls isn't a new thing. However, Megan recently, well, by the time this goes up, it'll be a few months ago, but if you go and check out her Instagram page, did a live IGTV where she made some of these in her amazing Megan style, which, if you have seen her artwork, she tends to use lots of different motifs. She uses the leaves, she uses sort of loopy patterns. She's just got this beautiful, delicate style to her pieces, and they just look so refined and gorgeous. And I just absolutely adore her style and her colors and the way she uses her collage pieces. So there's lots of things that she does. One thing you'll notice, I just rubbed off some ink off the gentleman's hat. I'd put some distress ink onto the surface, and it's obviously a coated cardboard because it just sat and it actually beaded up, so I just wiped it off. So just be aware, dye ink doesn't work on those cutouts. You need to use something else because it just didn't work, it just beaded up. So you can sort of see there I've got the basis of my art doll. Now I am very, very blessed because actually in this page, on the other page underneath those stamps, you will see another art doll, and that art doll was actually created by Megan. So you can sort of see what I mean, where the idea came from, where some of these themes came from in her art dolls. So I do highly encourage you to go and check it out. while I was sort of fiddling around, another theme from Megan is she loves to do, or she does a lot of sort of gridded backgrounds, which I find really interesting. But sometimes I find, where do you put the grid? How much paint do you put down? And then I had a look at my new Dina Wakley No Refund set, which is one I've just used to stamp out these squares. Again, I got that set for the quirky little people and the words on it. Frame stamps I don't use very often, but I had this idea and it's like, oh yeah, I can use it like this. So it's a great way to create your own little gridded background really, really easily, where you've got a bit of an idea of what's going to overlap. Now I just stamped it out lightly in blue ink. The reason I used blue was because I knew I was going to use blue colours over the top, so it would sort of blend in a little bit, and gave me an idea of where to put my painting. Now I'm also going to stamp over the top just to give those doodle lines a chance to sort of stand out as well. But you could use your own pens to do that. It's up to you. And obviously you could just paint out some squares. You don't need to have the stamps to do it, but I just found it really helpful to sort of give me a bit of an idea of what it was kind of going to look like when it's all overlapped and where I needed to do it. The other thing I liked about it was, and again, you do not have to do this, but it was very easy to go, okay, all the big squares are going to be the light colour, all the darker squares are going to be the smallest one, or the medium colours are going to be the medium size square. So it was a really quick and easy way to add paint and interest to my background pretty quickly. I'm choosing to work on the denim page because I really liked the effect of it. There was a little bit of gesso in the background, but not very much. So you don't have to pre-gesso it to do this. If you do, you'll find your colours will be brighter, but it's not necessary. So now all I'm doing is going back in and stamping over the top again. Now you do need to be aware, stamping on to the denim or the fabric it's not going to be a perfect impression, but I didn't want it to be perfect. I just wanted it to be enough that it sort of framed up the paint that I had, so that you could sort of see where the lines are coming from. And again, you can sort of see me going in, I'm putting in some white, adding the extra detail on. Two of those little frames have sort of got these little dashes on them, so it just sort of gives a bit more interest to the page. And again, you're sort of getting that balance of black and white. So even on the darker paint, in the close-up you can still see the stamping, but adding the extra white over the top sort of just helps pull it out a little bit more. So again, I'm just using normal paint pens over the top. I'm not sure how gel pens would go on this, because I tend to use paint pens. I'm really not 100% sure, but you could just try them out to begin with. I did want to add a little bit of extra into the background, and again, sort of going from Megan's Cues, she uses this loopy pattern an awful lot in her artwork, so I stamped that into the little squares that I had. It didn't come up brilliantly, so I decided to go in with the white pen in the background as well. Again, it wasn't hugely showing up, but it was subtle in the background. So obviously if I wanted to make it stand out more, I could have maybe chosen a black pen to do that. I might go back and put black pen in, you never know afterwards. So this is how things are. So here's my doll that I'm just sticking down now. I had the extra bits and pieces I still want to add in over the top. So I've got the fish, which I really, really like, and I've got him actually hanging over the edge. Got the word perishable there. The fish I put on to foam tape so it sticks up a little bit, and the Be Curious is one of the Tim Holtz chipboard quotes, so that's already on chipboard and that's standing up a little bit as well. Usually I peel in my art journals, I actually peel the words off the chipboard so it lays flat in my art journal, but I quite like the little bit of dimension. This is getting to be a very chunky art journal because there's been a few pieces in here where I've added things with a little bit more dimension in them, but that's okay, it all works. Because I actually wanted some blue on the man itself, I went in with my paint pen instead, and I chose to use a turquoise just as a little bit of a different blue shade on the page to sort of add it in a bit. I'm also going in with my Inktense, I think it's indigo pencil, to add a little bit more depth and shading around the edge. And I decided to actually put some onto his face, which I'm really glad I did, because it just gave, again, a little more detail to his face. I did add a little bit of pink into his cheeks. I wasn't 100% sure about that, but I kind of like just having that odd pop of a different colour on the page. Finally, with the word perishable, is a bit yellowy looking, so I decided to go in with my white pen over the top just to make it really white. And with Be Curious, I tinted it with a little bit of the blue Inktense pencil. Got a little bit too blue, so I just sponged the rest of it off, but I really liked how it looked. Sort of got a fishy look. This is a close-up of the paper doll, so you can see how versatile they are. You can do them in modern settings, you could do them on sort of very traditional ones like the page next door, but you can also do them in weird and wonderful colors. So this is basically the same thing, same process, using pink as my focus color, so sort of that monochromatic black and white with pink. I love the tap on this page, totally bonkers having it on there, but I just really liked it. And yeah, it worked really well. So I highly encourage you to go and check out Megan's IGTV, where she goes through her process of making these dolls. Have a go at making them yourself. Obviously, if you didn't have access to those ephemeras, you could certainly use stamped images of faces to do them as well, or use magazines. It's all good. Until next time, bye for now.